Ready? Alright. What's good, Stopde Nation? Welcome back to another video. Now you might be asking, Stopde, why are you dressed so fancy today with your Harry Potter cufflinks and your very, very, very poorly tied tie? Well, Stopde Nation, is because we have a very special guest right now that we are going to interview. The greatest FIFA Mobile player of all time is going to join us here in just a second. So we're going to add him onto the voice call here. But I'm very excited for this. So please give a big round of applause in the comment section right now for the one and only Autoplay. Alright, so first question up here that I really just want to know. What is it like to be the best player in FIFA Mobile? Alright, so prefers not to answer that question. Okay, second question. I've noticed that you can do some skill moves. Like this is unreal. Like I've seen you do some skill moves that I didn't even know existed in the game, let alone like have even come close to trying. And you have to tell me, please, in this moment right now, can you give me the secret? How do you do those skill moves? Please tell me. Okay, well, third question. It seems that there's been a controversy about some of the goals. A lot of the goals that you score seem to be, you know, from over the top from your own half, like those kind of things, or from a cross going in and the goalkeeper not challenging out to it, those kind of things. What do you have to say to that? Alright, so we got to meet Autoplay, and that's pretty much how I thought it was gonna go. But anyways, we wanted to show you some quick tips and tricks of how to beat Autoplay. So the first thing you gotta do when you come up with Autoplay in FIFA Mobile is you need to be able to recognize when you are actually playing against someone who is autoplaying. Like, how do you know that you're actually going against an autoplayer? So the first thing that you're gonna do, we're gonna go into this screen here, and then you can see we're in Legendary 1. We've been doing all these challenges. You're gonna have to give me a little bit of a break. I'm not on FIFA Champion anymore because I've been, you know, losing everything when I've been playing with a bronze team. It's weird, like you put a bronze team together and for some reason I can no longer compete in FIFA Champion. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Anyway, so the first thing you want to do to find out if you're going against an autoplay opponent is you click this button down here at the bottom. It says play, and then there's this 2. So as soon as you click that and you make sure you're selected head to head, it's gonna go in and now it's gonna find a match. So right now, at this point, it's gonna go, and then there you have it. We now have a 99.9% chance that our opponent is gonna autoplay. Okay, but seriously, there are some ways that you can find out if your opponent is auto-playing. Usually they run it forward, and they could be a situation where they kick it back there, or they just kind of run it forward and don't do anything with it. But it still is hard to tell at this point if your opponent is indeed auto-playing. I would guess in this situation, our opponent actually is not auto-playing, given the fact that they've done so much kind of back and forth passing. They may still go in, may still try and cross it, may do all of those things, but we don't necessarily know that they are going to be auto-playing. Now, the quick way to test it, once we get the ball back, so the way that we can check it though is there's one thing that Autoplay just does not do well with, and that is moving the ball back and forth. So the fact that they slide tackled us meant that they're probably not auto-playing, and you can see there they challenged us. Usually Autoplay, if you lay off the sprint speed button, you can go back and forth here. So I can see here that Beckham is challenging me. It doesn't work because our opponent in this situation is actually not auto-playing. So we know they're not auto-playing because when I move it back and forth along the pitch, I can see that they're actually reacting to that and they're actually making the challenge. So we'll go ahead and we'll see what happens when we come out against someone who is auto-playing. Dude, he just did the argues with officials. Okay, so it wasn't autoplay, but I have to show you that right there because Beckham just got a red card and tried to argue with the officials. They had to pull him away. That wasted so much time. That kind of means that the argues with officials skill is probably the worst skill that you can have in FIFA Mobile because, or trait, the worst trait you could have. All he did was just argue with the official as he was going through it, and it wasted like 5 minutes of time. So I guess if you're ahead, it's good. Alright, so when Stopde plays Stopde, it's guaranteed that one of these Stopdes has to autoplay, although it'd be pretty fun to try and do this both ways. Also have a little bit of advantage over this team, so that will help. One of the problems is even if they're autoplaying, they can still spam these buttons. So what we're gonna do is you can actually stop that by going in here and turning on the mute button. Now, if you'll notice here, I'll go in and I'll hit that thumbs up, and it thumbs up, but I don't see it. So that's a very good way to get rid of that part of it. The other way you can see this is that the autoplay here, there's a few things that autoplay does not usually do great with. One of them is they really don't challenge you if you don't use the sprint skill button. So you can see Koulibaly just is not challenging us on this one. So move the ball up, slowly up the pitch, sure passes as you go through, and then back and forth between it. Now, you notice there's Koulibaly came back, that is one of the issues, is that players behind will still attack you. So it seems to only be the players in front that aren't going to go after you. Also, roulettes tend to be helpful. So you can see there, Beckham can just kind of roulette. Roulettes freeze people who are auto-playing in a lot of cases. So again, we move backwards, we get there, Ronaldo does a nice roulette there to move some room, and then again, they're coming from behind, but if you can get yourself into a position where the player behind is not going to challenge you, like there's no player behind you, then you can start kind of just moving back and forth until you find some space. Alright, so the other thing you see is that on the kickoff, usually they'll just run it towards you, so that's usually a good way where you can run at it. You just want to be careful that you're not going and continuing to run forward, otherwise you can give it right back to them. And they are very dangerous when they have the ball. So moving this ball up, good little passes there. Again, slow build up the pitch is the best way to do it when you're going against autoplay, because the players are not as likely to attack you, although they are more likely to attack when they're in the defensive zone. So Xavi's going to put that up to Butra. Butra is going to run away from the ball, even though I'm pushing it towards there. Okay. Butra is going to go at this one. So again, roulette is helpful there. Again, we can stop and turn this. We can move to get the ball in the middle. Pass the ball in there. Okay, here we go. Xavi's going to go. Stays on that ball. Just pass that ball around, find some room, some roulettes to get some room. And now we're in that spot where we can just go back and forth until we find an opening. So you might need to roulette to get a bit of extra room there, but you can see here we can just stop and turn it, get there, finesse at the end, and then you put the ball in. So it's very just about getting into that stop pot at the top of the 18, and once you have no players behind you, just forward, back till you get some room. Once you have that room, you can take that shot and you can get it off. Alright, well there you have it. Thank you for checking this out. Thank you for stopping by. It's been a pleasure as always. Stopde.